Hey guys, Ralpal here. I'm finally doing my very first audio recorded video. Isn't that amazing? Here we are in Dissidia Opera Omnia. I wanted to do a guide for the Trials of Ifrit EX quest because I know people have problems with it, and I figured I might as well throw my opinions and stuff into the pool, even though I'm sure there are probably going to be other videos that people have already seen by this point. At the time of recording this, there are about 3 days left. In Pacific Standard Time, it ends at the 27th at around 6 p.m., I believe. I'll pull up the notice when the game actually loads. There it goes. Alright. Notice. Here it is. Yeah, alright, so it ends at the top there, you can see it ends at February 28 at 1:59 a.m. UTC, and in Pacific Time, that is on February 27 at around 5:59 p.m. Pacific Time, as I already said. Alright, so Trials of Ifrit. Pretty tough quest. Not exactly for the faint of heart. I myself am pretty overpowered. This right here is the team I used. I used Vaughn, Squall, and Terra because they are my best characters, and I enjoy them, and I figured I'd give them a shot. Alright, so one of the toughest things about this quest, I'll go into characters and my party later, but this land turtle and the behemoth, they're pretty straightforward. They're just basic enemies. The land turtle's really easy to kill, and the behemoth isn't much trouble, as long as you just don't get broken, which is the main goal of this. Now, the things start to get tough once you get to the red giant, and that's only if you use magic characters, because he's resistant to magical attacks, and especially if he gets Mighty Guard off, then he's going to be really hard to do bravery damage to. Now, I'm using Terra, and to some extent also you can consider Vaughn. They are not super great against this boss because, you know, they don't deal as much damage, at least Vaughn doesn't in his skills, and Terra just all around does not deal as much damage. So he deals a lot of bravery damage, so it can possibly be easy for those characters to get broken. So you might need to redo it a couple times if you're unlucky, but beyond that, he's pretty straightforward. The Chimera is where it gets complicated, but I will get into that once we get to him. Now, some things to keep in mind for characters is you're mostly going to want to plan for the Chimera. Everything else beforehand is pretty easy. Now, some characters that I believe are worthwhile considering, for starters, Edge is a pretty good character, and I don't actually use him, but I will show you why I believe he's a good character. His level 20 crystal ability, Smokescreen right here, it gives him 1 turn of evasion up, rank 5. Now that is really good for the Chimera because if he is targeted by giant fireballs, which is a very powerful single target attack, a single target bravery attack, he is probably almost guaranteed, if not completely guaranteed, to just ignore the attack entirely. Let's see, does he have any extra uses of that? He does. So if you've leveled him up to at least sea level 35, and honestly, I feel like crystal level 40 is probably the highest you'd ever need to take any characters for this quest. You don't need to be like me and take him past like level 45. But if you have him to level 35, you already have 2 uses of that, and you're probably only going to ever get targeted him by 1 or 2 times, depending on how quickly you're able to kill him. So it's a pretty useful ability. Some other characters, Setzer is good because he has his free solid ability, which is that, no, that's not listed here, that's on his thing, but it'll halt his bravery, the Chimera's bravery gain for 2 turns, which is very good if you just want to prevent him from getting too high of a bravery so that you can easily break him after he uses something like giant fireballs or something like that. Also, there are Cloud and Vaughn are both good characters because they're good damage dealers, both bravery and HP wise, because of, say, like Cloud's cross slash and Vaughn's skills both having brave plus HP attacks. Cloud is very good in that regard because cross slash has paralysis on it, and if you have his organics weapon, I believe, you'll have an increased chance to paralyze the Chimera, which is really good for controlling him and quite possibly avoiding breaks and stuff like that, or high HP damage. Whereas Vaughn, he is not quite as good in that regard. He has blind on the second phase of White Whirl, which, as you can see here, once you've used it twice, the third use and onwards will trigger Luminescence. And what Luminescence does is it does light damage, and it has a chance at blinding the target, which isn't as useful as paralysis because it's not guaranteed, but it's a nice backup, just in case you don't have those options or something like that. It gives you a chance at maybe not taking bravery damage or something like that. In fact, it saved me one time in the first run that I did of this. Some other good characters, Warrior of Light and Hope are both good defensive characters, though with Warrior of Light, I highly recommend not using Provoke during the Chimera, because that's just a very bad idea. You do not want him constantly focusing on Warrior of Light, because he's probably going to break him at some point and build up a lot of HP damage, and you would just be in a bad time. Believe me, I've tried it. It was not good. Some good debuffers are Laguna with he has a speed down, a defense down, and an attack down. Vanille has defense down with her D-Protect, and I believe her weapon also gives it attack down, and then she has the spell, which, like, that's a clear good thing for this guy, because he has buffs that he gives himself occasionally. Last but not least are brave damage characters, like Squall here, for example. As you can see, mine is quite overpowered because I got lucky with the twin lenses. But the one thing to keep in mind is having characters with high bravery and high bravery output is really good, and Squall as well as Bart's are two good examples of that, because they can deal a lot of bravery damage and thus get their bravery up higher quicker. So they're useful in that regard, as well as for breaking the Chimera when it gets too high. Beyond that, it basically depends on what characters you have the highest. And for me, that is these three. Now, as you can see, I've completed all the objectives already, so essentially you'll just have to look at the statistics at the end of the video. One thing to keep in mind, this quest doesn't give any actual resources. All it is the 1,000 gems, which there's 600, there's 200, and then 200 for the initial clear, as well as 10 total skip tickets you can get from the missions tab, which I've already completed them. They're in there. By clearing it, you get 5, and then by completing all the objectives, you get another 5. I believe the last thing is Ifrit. Now, Ifrit, I have him maxed out. It's very helpful. However, I would say you only need him at about level 11, I believe it is, because that is when you get this 6 turns right here, and that's the most important thing, because it just really lets you take advantage of that summon time and get his HP down. Now, one thing I'm not going to do, ideally, I tried recording this once and I kind of fucked up at the very end, but I'm not planning on using a support. However, just bear in mind with your supports, make sure and check their skills, because if you take in someone like Squall, who is, I would say, a pretty good character for this event, because he has a lot of Brave and HP damage potential, but just make sure your characters have the skills they need and stuff like that, because sometimes people forget to equip it. But let's go. Now, the first one is this land turtle, and he is pretty straightforward. Just do bravery damage, don't get broken, and kill him. My character's very OP, so I'm going to have a pretty easy time with this, but overall, you are not going to have a hard time with it either, so don't worry about it too much. Just do your best and kill him like that. There he goes. He's dead now. Rest in peace, turtle. Now here's a behemoth. He's pretty easy too, more HP. Can deal more bravery damage. Just pay attention to who he's targeting, so like here's Terra. I don't want to HP attack with her, for example. But as you'll see, he doesn't do that much. 700 is a lot, but as long as you're paying attention, you're going to be fine. So, alright, Vaughn is getting targeted next, so I'm going to do this just because you shouldn't be using most of your skills, but a couple here and there is fine. Alright, so bravery attack with Vaughn, HP attack with Squall, and easy peasy. I'm gonna risk this, because I'm giving him a defense down, and I'm gonna be able to break him, and yeah, she's gonna get another turn, and even if she didn't, she has 1,163, so she's gonna be just fine. And she's doubly fine. Now he's going to buff himself, and that's going to give him a strength up, and then the next turn, you will see he's going to do an all attack. It does about 1,000 bravery damage, I believe. We'll find out in just a second. But I'm just going to HP attack through all this. Alright, so there's this attack up, and you're just going to want to you're going to want to keep your bravery around above 1,000. 2,000 is safe. Now, one thing you can do is I'm about to use a chain attack, and so with Terra, I can HP attack, and it's better to do this when you have more bravery damage built up, but I haven't been super efficient. But as you can see, my characters are strong enough to just quickly build up my bravery because of all that crit damage. But yeah, she lost about 1,000, so that's all well and good. So we're just going to keep attacking this guy. And let's see if we can kill him. Probably. Can't kill him. How sad. Now we can summon though. Ow, that was rude. Alright, so now he's dead. Now here's where things get slightly tougher. Thankfully, he's targeting Squall and not, say, like Terra. Excuse me. But, the problem here is that he does, as you'll just see, he does about 1,000 brave damage. And that's pretty hard-hitting, especially against Terra, because she's not going to be able to build bravery up that fast. But I'm going to use a Meteor Chant, because I can afford to, and it's going to help her deal more bravery damage. This guy, otherwise, is pretty straightforward. Just do the usual. Use skills when you need to, but you don't use too many. Eventually, he will use a buff on himself that, as I mentioned before, he's going to buff his defense, and it's going to make him a bit of a pain to deal with. In fact, how many turns is it for? Doesn't say. Well, if it happens, we'll find out. But just bear that in mind. I can probably kill him before he gets the chance to. Let's use this one. I'm going to use a Blade Flurry. Take advantage of that. Then we're just going to keep attacking him. And I will likely skip ahead. I'm not sure. We'll find out. You will see. I will still have to decide on that. Oh, and he's going to buff himself. So, actually, I'll probably not skip ahead. Okay. let's use an HP attack, because it's going to get more damage out of them. A whole, like, 400. Amazing. So, alright, yeah. He has physical and magical resist for 2 turns. This could be bad. Alright, so don't be like me. Don't do that. Don't get broken. If you're smart like me, you won't get broken. Okay, hey guys, we're back, and I totally didn't reset or anything. Not at all. This isn't a different run. No, I would never do something like that. No, anyways, okay, so I'm back. I went back in, I did the other quests. I haven't been broken, and as you can see, like Squall, I used the Blade Flurry, I used some other skills with Vaughn, but for the most part, everything's the same. Well, not really. It doesn't really matter in the long run of things. The basic process is the same, and I did what I would have wanted to do. So, alright, we're just going to keep moving on. As you can see, I'm not in the stage of him having his self-buff this time. So, I don't know if we'll get that again. It's ideal that you don't, but I mean, I think I could probably skip it only because I'm not really that powerful. So, I am powerful. My characters are pretty powerful, so, you know. Trying to think if there's anything I need to mention, but I can't really recall, so not really super concerned about it. I'm going to use a Blade Flurry here, because I expect he's going to use an HP, yep. And I don't want it to do too much. So, let's use an HP attack. 2 HP attacks! I don't know why I said it like that, but whatever. And a Bravery. Now he's broken, the fool. He will not last long at this rate. In fact, you won't. Now he's dead. Another body for the fire. And here is the Chimera. This is a tough one. Alright, so, just to begin with, this obviously is the one you're going to worry the most about. At 80%, he's going to get a buff, 80% HP. And at that buff, it's also going to trigger a new attack for him, but let's just get to that point. So, initial turn, it's always generally just building up Bravery. Nothing too unusual. Gonna use Flame Hoof, that's pretty powerful, so don't underestimate it. He's targeting Vaughn, so let's just do some more Bravery attacks. I'm going to use a Meteor Chant, just because I can. And let's just use a Meteor, because why not? Not max damage, but whatever. Take what you can get. The Goat Head's not very intimidating. It's one of the best turns to be a little careless on, as long as you're not allowing yourself to get broken, because compared to the other heads, he's not really going to do that much. Now, since I'm going to be able to break him, and his initial initial AoE attack is only going to do about 400 under 500 damage without his strength buff, but I'm very likely to trigger his strength buff, and let's find out. Nope, not yet. Okay, but when he has his strength buff, the base AoE, which is I believe called Thunder Breath, it's going to do about 700 Bravery damage. So it's nothing to turn your cheek at if you are careless and say used HP attack with Vaughn there. But yeah, that timer is being rude. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to take care of some stuff. But we're back, but it's only seconds for you. How convenient. Anyways, we are back at the all attack. As I said, pretty straightforward. Not much damage. Easy peasy. Alright, now, here's the problem. I'm gonna HP attack. And I highly suspect that this is going to trigger his buff. No? Okay then, never mind. Ignore that then. He should just use a standard Flame Hoof here. Yep. Alright, or he would have used a back kick if I have left his bravery up, probably. Which he might use one here, because his bravery is getting pretty high. Let's just go with a HP attack. And I'm gonna use a meltdown. Oh boy. Alright, well, let's see if we can get this down. Let's use a solid barrel just to be safe. There we go. Alright, I'm not gonna HP attack here because that would just get me broken. Alright, let's just play it safe here. Oh, let's not play it safe. Well, we're still playing it safe. Because she's going to be able to get enough bravery back. Alright, so now that he has strength calling, that is going to give him more strength. As you can see, he's doing now 700 bravery damage with that attack, but now, here's the kicker. Now he's going to use giant fireballs. And honestly, it's probably good that he used it on, he's going to use it on Squall here. Well, assuming he gets it off. But, giant fireballs does about, the last time I remember, it does about 5,300 bravery damage. So you're going to want characters who can match that. All my characters can. If you aren't using characters who can match that, you're going to want to compensate. You're going to want to use either debuffers like Vanille or Laguna. You're going to want to use support defenders like Warrior of Light or Hope. You basically just consider your options. Vaughn has the option of using his White Whirl and Luminescence to have a chance at blinding him and making the attack miss. Cloud's going to have the option of paralyzing him and delaying his turn to give characters a chance to build up their bravery if they haven't had the time to do so. You have options, so just work with your party, figure out what works good for you, and do that. For now, I'm just going to bravery attack with him, and I'm going to bravery attack with her, and he's going to... Oh, no, he's going to use back kick. My mistake. He could have used giant fireballs. I'm not sure what he decides to do between back kicking and whatever, but it's fine. I would have been able to survive that anyways, ideally. Here, I'm going to HP attack because I know I can break him. So, this will not be an issue. I'm going to do another HP attack. And we're gonna bravery attack. And we're gonna bravery attack. Bravery attacks all around. Things don't change much until after his defensive buff, though I'm not quite sure of the exact mechanics. I know that he uses his next buff at 50% HP, but the problem there is that mechanic I thought he had, which is an upgrade to his AoE attack, it doesn't work the way I thought it did, because I thought the new AoE attack triggered at his defensive buff, but it doesn't seem to, so I'm not quite sure what triggers it. Alright, so giant fireballs. Thought I would build up enough bravery. I'm just going to keep going with this. Be more careful than I am. I believe I probably used an HP attack that I shouldn't have. That was my bad. But yeah, he broke me. This is less than ideal. I'm going to take some steps to reduce this. So, like, you're going to want to make sure not to let that happen. But in my case, I've already let it happen, and I don't want to redo this. So, I'm going to work to reduce these effects, and hopefully this will do it. Okay. No. Alright then. Well, I guess I have no choice but to restart then. Alright, we're back around a similar point to when I had the last predicament jump up. Vaughn's being targeted again. but I should be able to get enough bravery to survive the very likely incoming giant fireballs. We'll see. Yep, alright. Yeah, and it does about 5,300 bravery, which is a good fact to know. That's with my current defense, and it's good to know that it's a fairly reliable number. Alright, so I'm going to use a meltdown. That'll give him some defense down. Do that. And thankfully, we can use Solid Barrel Plus. Reduce that HP damage nice and low. Okay, so let's do that. And we're just going to use bravery attacks here, because no sense risking it, and I've since learned that it's best not to use HP attacks during that at all, as you want to make sure you have enough bravery to deal with giant fireballs, because generally, unless you're like Squall or Bartz, you are not going to be able to restore your bravery high enough unless you somehow get a ridiculous number of turns, like with, say, Cloud, because of Finishing Touch, which is a nice ability. The other reason to use him, though I would prefer to use that during the summon, I think. Let's see. Alright, so just bravery attacks. Yep. Bravery attacks. Let's use a Meteor Chant just so I have that if I ever need to get his bravery down. Which would be a good time now, aside from the fact that, you know, he's kinda not being nice. I'm just gonna use a White Whirl here. Reduce his bravery. Didn't get any debuffs on him. And now he has his defense down, which in theory will make his Dragon's Head AoE a lot more powerful, but I've been given an indication that it isn't going to do that, and so I'm not sure. But on the off chance that it does what I expect it to, I'm not going to risk having low bravery. So, I'm just going to bravery attack. And hopefully, if it's about to do what I think it should, yeah, alright, Vaughn's getting broken, I expect. No! Alright, so turns out 3,000 bravery, which Vaughn did not have, is a adequate amount. I'm going to use a White Whirl again, just to give him blind if I can? No. Okay. Well, he's not going to be able to kill anyone. Now I'm going to use Solid Barrel. Ah, that's perfect. Now we're going to use Meteor, just to reduce his bravery down even more. Going to use a back kick. It's fine with me. I don't really mind. I think at this point I am safe to summon. However, I want to go in with more bravery. So let's see. Let's just build up some bravery. I might be able to just go with it at the end of this turn, maybe. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to try it. I think the goat head is usually the best turn to go for the kill, in my opinion, because it's going to do the least amount of bravery damage, because the goat head's pretty weak. As well as plus the dragon head is pretty easy to recover from as long as you are careful. Now let's see. Let's use a bravery attack. We're going to red spiral with him next. But since, let's see what happens here. I'm going to use, since she's being targeted, I'm going to use that. And I'm going to next use a Blade Flurry. And we're going to build up her bravery. Then we're going to use Red Spiral with Vaughn. Then I'm going to commit. I'm going to use a Blade Flurry again. And we do not have enough. I'm not going to risk it. I will do it next turn. Next turn I can definitely kill it. Alright, so Brave Attack, Blade Flurry. Alright, go with another Brave attack. Almost hit the HP button. Alright, yeah, there's the lunge attack. You can see it only does around 2,000, I think. It's not really too bad. But now, we're gonna kill him. So, it doesn't really matter. There he goes. Victory. Took long enough. This video was honestly a pain in the butt to create. Which is ironic, given how I was able to do this the very first time I tried it with this team. I guess I just got lucky. But there you go. Alright, as you can see, I did it in 127 turns. I took no breaks, and I accidentally hit the wrong button. But yeah. Also, you can see the rewards. They're nothing you couldn't get anywhere else. EXP is pretty good, but honestly, unless you have like an amazing team and know how to do this pretty efficiently, it's easier to use other quests like the level 50 cycle quests, or other quests like I like to farm this quest for just EXP orbs. Not to mention quest 5 in Chapter 5 on hard mode. That's not the right button, which I'll just go to just because, but there are people who have uploaded tutorials on this stuff. But in hard mode, this quest right down here, not this, come on, alright, come on, zoom back in please. Oh, wait, what am I? Why can't I zoom in? I don't know. But, okay, this quest right here, 5 Chapter 5 to the Sacred Mountain, pretty basic quest, has 3 battles, basic enemies, gives about 400 EXP. It's a good place to farm EXP. But, yeah. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? That's basically it. Just, you gotta be more careful than I was in, at the very least, one failed attempt, with characters like Vaughn, who don't have as reliable ways to build up their bravery. If you don't have someone like Cloud, who can use paralysis and delay that turn, or I imagine Ishtola could delay the turn, which could help, but it really depends on the turn order and stuff like that, and how fast people are. But, really, in that, the phase of the Dragon Head, the all attack, you really need to, just not use HP damage unless you are confident you can get that bravery back, like with Squall. Like, Squall's a good character who can do that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, hope it was useful to you. That's really all there is to talk about. I hope if you haven't finished this, that you'll be able to, because that 1,000 gems and 10 draw tickets, I said skip tickets before, that was a mistake. You can blame that on Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. But yeah. Hope this was helpful to you. If it was, please leave a like, comment if you feel like there's anything you'd like to say, what kind of setup you used, etc., etc. Also, to bear in mind, like, you can do this with characters that don't have max limit break weapons like my Squall, like Smelly Octopus. So he's an example. He did it with just a basic team. I believe, I don't remember who he used. I think he used Cloud, Terra, and Squall, and they only had like one of their weapons. But yeah, it's possible. It's just, it takes a little bit of planning and just understanding the mechanics and all that stuff. Knowing that with the right defense, like here, let me go back to my characters. Like, my characters have about, Terra's a little on the weaker side, but with Vaughn and with Squall, they both have 800 defense. So that probably helped a lot with the giant fireballs, and it's possible that Terra might have taken a bit more damage since she does not have as much defense, and that would help if I actually had leveled up this power band right here. But, I mean, you have other options, like, you might have better equipment or something like that. But, yeah, hope this was helpful. Again, leave a like if this was helpful to you. And, yeah, I wish you best of luck with the